My friends, welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. Where are you going? Get back here, buddy. There are so many sounds coming from this cave. I had to come and investigate. Oh, and by the way, we have been eating golden carrots since the last couple of episodes. Man, these things last. They are a good food source. Okay, there's loads of skeletons back there. We're going to leave them alone. Over in this corner, there's a whole bunch of drowns hanging out together. I killed one a moment ago and got a drowned head. Let's see if we can get another one. Wrecking on these fools. Did you drop some gold for me? And there's some gold right there. Just the one drowned head. And yes, my skin has changed. So I have been AFK near the Cactus Farm, and when I go AFK, usually a whole bunch of mobs accumulate in an area, and I was just investigating that. So there is the Cactus Farm, and also I have changed my skin. Let's check this thing out in its full glory with a few arrows in the butt and in the heads. You know, normal business here on Hermitcraft. So last episode, I gave myself a custom skin, right? One that I've made myself, and then Platypus Prince on Twitter sent me this one, and I fell in love with it straight away. This is the best Christmas skin I have ever seen. I am now a Christmas Yeti. Oh, I love it. It's so cool. I love changing the skin for festive reasons and for turtle reasons. And, oh, some slimes over there. One day we will make a slime farm down here. And now, of course, we are a Yeti. That is the wrong one. Jeez, let's go in the right one. We need to get up to the top here. So I've been AFKing for cactus because we are desperately short on our cactus supply. And also, the repair shop is in desperate need of more repairs to be filled up. You know, I need to load the furnaces again because that shop is getting used. We are building a regular customer base that are constantly using it, and the demand is going up and up. So we're going to check on how much cactus we've got here. Get away from my chest, you butt. Did you see that? I shot him through the gap at the edge of the hopper because it doesn't have like a full block hitbox. So that's totally possible. Small little thing I noticed. That is a fantastic sign. Awesome. Okay, we will be able to stock up a lot of chests with this. And I didn't think to bring... Oh, goodness me, of course. Oh, no. I've been underground for ages. I haven't been sleeping. I need to eat. What should I do? Okay, let's eat food first. Actually, here is my anti-phantom weapon. Just get in a bed, although I might get attacked. If I don't get attacked now... Whew, okay, now they're all going to burn and leave me alone. Jeez, pesky phantoms. The situation here isn't quite as vital as I thought it was. On the bottom floor, all but one of these have been used. So we have made a fair few diamonds for Doc. Check it out, 5 more of those. This is actually quite a cheap shop. And then up the top here, we've got some on these sides used again. So, going to take a little bit of time now to restock everything. And I'm going to drop off Doc's diamonds. So the furnaces are cooking. Everything is restocked with cactus to spare. Things are going great so far today. And in here, I have come up with a great way to show that we have a shareholder's price. Okay, so down here, regular price is a clear divider, and these are grouped into 8, and then it says shareholder's price. So our customers that regularly use this know the price is 1 diamond for 5, and I think this pretty much explains that if you're a shareholder, it will be 8. And of course, we put our share prices up last episode, so it's now 32 a stack. And hopefully we can start to encourage some customers that way. And it made me think that if we put something like that in each of our shops that you get perks for, we don't actually need this building over here. But that does not bother me in the slightest. We'll have both of these things, right? And also, this is a really fancy building. And what we're going to do here before we get to some wintry themed stuff this episode is working on the entrance. Oh, and now I've remembered that I was brainstorming some redstone ideas because I want to have a hopper in the ground over here that we chuck in a renamed item like a key to getting to the wall part, and then behind here we could have a little storage area for our shulker boxes, which are currently up there. And then we could create a little entrance going into the rainbow over here. So I'd have a short little journey to get between my supplies and stocking up the shop again. We'll do that later though. As I said, we're working on the entrance here. And you can see that I've been ripping up the ground, laying in a path, and we're going to transform this area. One of the things that I wanted to do was lower down the ground a little bit because this would have been quite close to the top of our hermit rail network line coming through the area. So we're going to have these go a lot lower down, and I think what I would like to do is find a block palette where we can have a different type of terrain directly next to the path, and then have a fence at the edge of it. So we kind of separate this area leading up to the front of our building. So the first bit feels great. We're in need of some grass blocks and leaf blocks on the sides here. All's good, but when we transition into this second area, the granite block gets a little bit tiresome, and I'm not sure what blocks we need to add to the palette that we got here. It needs to match, but I feel like if I'm to use any of the blocks we've used on the floor already, it might look a little bit strange being raised up to the side. I also think that these cobblestone walls don't work further up here, so we're probably going to go with iron bars, I'm guessing, and then around the outside here, maybe we don't actually introduce any new colours, we just go with what we've already done before, and I think the best block for that would then be andesite. I am loving this entrance. It has a very overgrown feel to it, as all of these back areas are covered by grass and there's leaf blocks, and then as you make your way through here, you will notice there's like a little arrangement on the side that's supposed to look like a bit of a flower box garden-y type thing. It looks okay. I reckon I could probably make it a little better. So much so though that I've come around here and built another one over here as well. I mean, I think maybe it needs a little bit of colour. Perhaps some different types of flowers at the front might do the trick. But that's most of the entrance done now, and as you'll see, I decided to use stone brick walls in the end. Even though we've used them on the path down here, it kind of works, but in this area we haven't, and so it pops out a little bit different. Then we got iron bars and anvils. So the one thing that I think is left now for the entrance is really just what to do with this right here, and I kind of want to make it look like we have pushed back the landscape and show some signs of that without putting up any barriers like I've done in the past. So we're going to try something different to make this work. Well, that is not quite what I was going for, but it looks really good. I've just thrown in a whole bunch of andesite and gravel, and I kind of wanted this to look like we had pushed back the land. And I don't think the shape of it really conveys that, but it looks like a really nice terrain feature. If we just approach from the side here, it's kind of tucked away, and then as you see the building here, this new sort of terrain opens up on your left, and you know what? That's really, really great. And I am so pleased with how all of this has turned out. I think I might make one or two more adjustments at another time around here, but for now, that is all finito. Alright, so that is the last of our chest monsters. Always good to get everything tidied up and ready to go. And I just wanted to say I'm in a fantastic mood today because I wasn't able to get on the server and record yesterday. I had a whole bunch of awful PC issues, and in trying to resolve all of that, I found some other issues in and around my channel with things like my PayPal account and stuff to do with Patreon, and oh, it ended up being a bit of a rotten day, but towards the end of it, I decided to knuckle down, do all the jobs around the house, clean everything up, and I wake up today with like nothing on my list to do other than log onto the server and play some Hermitcraft. So I am in a super good mood, and I'm looking for a prank that took place in this area, and I've got a feeling it's been taken down already. Oh, I really wanted to show you this. It was so funny. There were in fact two pranks taken up against the convex, aka the combats, and both of them had disappeared straight away. Oh, I wanted to come and check them out for myself. Anyway, there is one other thing that's happened here on the server that hasn't been taken. Well, actually it kind of has been taken away and it's taken off. I think I showed you in the last episode that Mumbo has a rocket shop and it's really taken off. There is a blast crater here and it has gone up into the sky, and I believe it must have been Tango who did this because this is out of business now, right? Wow, this is really high up. Mumbo's defective rocket shop. Tango found out, and I'm going to guess that there is... Oh no, they're still here for sale? Shop at Tech to the Sky is brilliant. Oh, that's hilarious. As the title of this video would have informed you, we are going to be opening a game of mini golf, and it is going to take place in the Christmas area. It'll be a community project where all of the hermits can take part, and it is going to be epic, my friends. But let me tell you a little story first of all. You see, I was actually going to kick this mini game off pretty early in the season. Now this season we don't have a gaming district. You can build a mini game anywhere you like and theme it to the area that it's in. and I was going to do that. However, Cubfan was making his Trident Elytra golf game around the time when I finished making two important farms. One of them was an ice farm so we can have compressed ice, and the other one was our wool farm so that we can put carpets on top of it and make our mini golf courses nice and coloured. And so I decided to actually put my idea off for a while, and then I realised the Christmas project was coming up and I could theme it to this area. My oh my, that is a wonderful skin. Gotta say thank you again to Platypus Prince, and look at me, I'm getting all distracted. I tell you what, I'm gonna have a hard time taking that skin off when Christmas is over. But anyway, in this area you will see that there are a whole bunch of dirt pillars, and these are actually marking out 12 different plots where the hermits will be building their round of mini golf. There's going to be 12 rounds in total, and these little plots are 17 by 17. But the way I need to introduce how this game works to the other hermits is by creating a tutorial area with some examples on the type of things you can do with the mini golf game. So I'm going to set that up, and of course that'll help me explain to you how all of this is going to work as well. And before we do that, we need to check out Season 3 of Hermitcraft, where the mini golf game first appeared. If you recognise the site in front of you, well done for remembering. This is the bottom of my Season 3 base right here. We have the villager farm floor level, then we have our various farms including sheep, cactus and jungle, and then we have the fully automatic potion brewing stand that automatically brewed every type of potion at that point in the game. What was this one right here? Villager trading, enchanting. Oh my goodness me, this is bringing back some memories. And then our crazy humongous storage system floor, and then the above the base area. And remember, Season 3 was amplified. Wow, this is such a beautiful sight. The memories of Season 3 are real, my friends. Wow, this takes me back a few years. There's Shrek hanging out on the hill. And below us is the mini golf course, which we first did in Season 3 of Hermitcraft, and all props to Zul'jin for coming up with this idea. He pretty much did the same thing. He started off with a concept of mini golf and then invited the rest of us hermits to come and get involved and make some rounds as well. I think what we're going to do different this season though is make the areas in which we build our rounds with a lot bigger, and also we're going to use a nicer block palette. However, the game itself has got a nicer looking over time. And flying back around here, there isn't too much that I've seen that I haven't thought about already. This right here is a really great idea though, banners to number each of the holes. And another thing that I didn't think of was having a starting pit to take your shot from. So I'm going to update the little tutorial that I've built on the server, on the Season 6 server, and then we'll take a look at it together. So me being me, I have tried to pick the easiest place possible to build this, and considering that we're building the golf course up here on the surface area, I picked this depression in the ground just to dig away the dirt at the bottom and open it up a little bit. And as I started to build, I realized that this tutorial probably needs to be both watched and visited, right? So I'll probably send the hermits to this video. This is the way down to the area. I'll probably make it a lot clearer a little bit later on. And then down the bottom here we have a bunch of examples, things that you might need to know about making your own miniature golf course. And then over on this side we have the key, because we want to color code this. We want to make it clear for players what to expect. For example, red is an obstacle and lime is just normal packed ice. And that is a key thing here, because the item that you throw is going to slide across the ice, and that's how the mini golf game comes to life with that mechanic right there. Now I picked some snowballs because they're round. We'll probably use ender pearls as well as golf balls, but effectively you can actually just slide any old item across the ice. I am hearing explosions. I know what it is. The snow golems are fighting with creepers. Right. I saw a creeper just over in this direction. Okay, that is actually quite a big deal, because if we leave the golems in this area and we build things in this area and creepers spawn and they fight each other, stuff's going to get blown up. So once they've done their job, they need to be removed. That looks like the other creeper explosion. Anyway, I've been horribly distracted. So back to the key. I had started to introduce you to this a little bit, but let's just start from step one. We're trying to color code things here, create some uniforms so players know what to expect, and the orange is for the starting pit, which will probably end up looking like this. I've done a little trick here where we have snow layers instead of a snow block, so that means we can put the jack-o'-lantern up top without the snow golem forming. The banner will probably say like number 1, and the player has to stand in here to take their very first shot. Now the next thing we have is the hopper and the flag, which we've made out of end rods and glass. This is the hole that you gotta get your snowball or ender pearl or whatever it is into. Then we have yellow for function. Now this is when redstone gets involved. If you want to get creative and you want the player to shoot at a particular part of your course and tell them that they need to shoot there, you can use yellow to sort of incentivize that, and then perhaps it goes through some hoppers and the snowball pops out somewhere else. Then we have lime for normal, which is when we have packed ice underneath. You can't always use that though. This example over here wouldn't work if we had lime over on that side, because these things actually have a hitbox. And then we have red for obstacle. It's important that we show the players when they're going to run into an obstacle. So over here I've created a little example where it shows you how far you can throw it in theory. I've done a lot of experimentation here with throwing at different heights, and the furthest I've seen it travel is pretty much all the way to the end of that block without actually hitting it. So if I stand in the middle of this block and throw something like that, we can see roughly this is how far it's going to slide along. So this gives you a good idea of how big you should make your course based on how far the mini golf ball can be shot. So over here we have one with an obstacle. This is pretty straightforward. It's just to show you that, hey, it's going to stop right on the obstacle. And wherever the ball stops, that's where the player then has to take their next shot from, right? So that should be pretty obvious, but just in case it's not, I thought I'd mention it. So over here we have a moving obstacle, and the reality is that this is actually just a little too quick going back and forward to really be an obstacle. Let's try and beat it. No, of course we didn't. If that were a little bit slower going back and forth, I might have had a chance. But that's something that you could do with redstone. And then over here we have something that isn't working in this world, and I'm not sure why. It was working in the test world that I was messing around on. Maybe it's because I was standing higher over there. Essentially we can jump up by 2 blocks, and we have to land on the carpet, which I'm failing to do. Yes! And that time it managed to do it. Right, because when I was standing down here and throwing it, it was missing, as it just did right then. So you don't have to jump up by 2 blocks, you can just jump up by 1. But the idea here is that if we use soul sand and your snowball goes into it, it can get projected upwards. So that's a good way to add some height to your golf course. Alright then, we are ready to build our first round of mini golf, and I'm going to lay out the theme for building a little bit here as well. Of course other hermits can deviate from the theme, but the first thing I want to comment on is I felt like this 17 by 17 plot was actually a little bit limiting. So since we're starting from a singular point, I can go and move all the positions of these pillars and make this bigger. I think I'll probably make it 21 by 21, so the other hermits will have much more to work with. Now, when preparing this area and figuring out where the golf course was going to go, us hermits had a little bit of a chat and discussion. Ren is going to be building a hermit rail network line. That's where these blocks are indicating it's going to go, and we've deliberately laid it out like this, so it's actually going to go over the top of the mini golf course. And the first 2 plots are going to be the first and the last. So this is the very first hole, and it's going to go around all the other plots and then finish up over here, which means I can use the space in front to build some sort of mini golf sign or something like that when all of the different courses are built. It is going to be a wonderful project, my friends, and for the build theme I've gone with quartz, and I would like there to be a sort of lawn vibe on the areas outside, but I don't want to use green and I don't want to use snow either, which is why you'll see I've got white carpet, which we can hide lighting underneath, and I've got white concrete as well. Now originally what I was thinking we would do is have everything raised up by 1.5 blocks, but I think it would kind of suck if our lawn was down at this level. So what we're actually going to do is keep it up at around the same height, and what I will do with my little course right here is actually raise the second part of it up by an entire block, because we don't want the whole thing to be flat as well. So we will actually have that 1.5 high in some places, but around here what I'm going to do is just try and get this lawn vibe going. But remember how I said the plot weren't big enough? I'm really feeling that right here. Yeah, this doesn't work. It's not terrible, but it could be better. And I know why it could be better, because we should be using these carpets to add randomized details to the flat areas. So maybe we'll actually drop back to having snow over here, and then we'll just throw in some carpets around, ooh, around the top. That's really nice. So then we come in and do a little bit of that here and there, and we can hide lights in there. I think that that's the way to go. Now the next thing we need to do is actually make all of this a little bit bigger. And I was going to explain what I was going to do with my course here, but I think I should actually get this finalized first. Oh my goodness me. I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, is that really the time? You know when you get passionate and you really get into something, time just whizzes by. Well, that's what's happened here. I am adoring the look and feel of this build. It is all really well illuminated thanks to those carpets. They got sea lanterns underneath them. And this definitely looks like a fake lawn, right? But I really like that. It just, I just love it. And I can't wait to throw in some colour in the middle. By the way, when picking out the colours, I was trying to be festive. We've got our white for snow, and green and red are some quite festive colours, which is why I picked green for the course and red for the obstacle, which would probably be your natural choices anyway, right? Anyway, our festive colours are set in stone, and we got lighting underneath the red ones to, you know, provide light, stop things spawning basically. Although the carpet's going to do that. Also, we don't really want to be playing over here at night. Gee, you know, whatever. Okay, so let's talk about my decisions for making this little layout right here. I wanted to provide the player with a left or right shot, so you're going to be able to jiggle from the left to the right inside of this pit and throw it into that groove or into that groove there. This one's going to slide further along, but it might end up making a tough shot. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't really, because if you pick it up here, it's going to fly over the top, so that's probably your easier option. Yikes. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. So from the other side, it's probably a little bit harder. So it goes into that groove, you then go and stand where this thing ended up, and now that is definitely more so in your way. Yeah, so we know which one is the easier, but hey, it's up for the hermits to decide themselves. So we've got the yellow carpet here, there is a hopper underneath. Eventually I'll put in some redstone, and that'll send the item over to here. I've also put yellow on top of this to kind of show where the ball is going to end up next. So the dropper is going to spit it out in a random direction. Knowing my luck, it's probably going to end up on the slabs occasionally. Oh, got to think these things through more. So it could go all the way over to the very back there, or maybe it goes over to this side. You get lucky and it pushes it that way. But I think most of the time you're going to take a shot across where this is. And if you happen to be here, one of the things I think you can do is kind of slide it off the edge like we saw a second ago. Now that's a really good shot, because then you're taking your next one from here and, you know, there you go. It also made me realise if it lands on that, then you're taking your shot from here, and this doesn't really work as an obstacle. So I was wondering, maybe we should do something like that. Maybe we should make it higher. But would that then make the whole course look a little bit strange? I think you actually get away with that in a ways. So maybe back down here we could add a little something like so. And that actually probably doesn't quite get it right. And if we put that there, that's just a pain in the bum. Yeah, I think we'll leave it alone there, but we'll have it in place up top. So there is more to be done and said about this mini golf course. Look at it over the back there, looking amazing. I've had some ideas for decorations. I'm going to start creating a list. As always, if you've got any ideas, suggestions, put them in the comments down below. We'll be introducing the other hermits to this real soon. And one of the things we need to make sure we do now is kill all of the snowmen that are in the area, because we've learnt that they might aggravate creepers, and then explosions will happen, which we definitely don't want near our mini golf course. So I have a redstone project in mind for this episode. We're going to head back over to where we were working earlier. One thing I want to mention though is I know some people are going to say it, blue ice. We could use blue ice on our mini golf course, but I did some testing and it extends the length that you can throw the ball or the snowball at by about not even half a block, like maybe 2/3 of a block. So it's kind of negligible and I wasn't going to bother with it. Okay, redstone time. We have a hopper over here. We want to throw an item into it. want to get that item back and go through to a secret area. Well, I was thinking this is going to be quite big and bulky. You got to set up like an item filter. This is a pretty classic design here. And then you would have to create another redstone circuit to give you the item back, and there's probably more to it than that, right? We also got to activate the doors with pistons, which is another thing I just thought of. But in thinking about how things work when items go into hoppers, I started to think about simplifying this to the point where you have two hoppers, right? And the second one is actually full up with items like this. So the only way it lets an item through is when the same one comes in again, which is actually the same as this, but we're really going to crunch the redstone down. Okay, my friends, this is some beautiful redstone, and I also want to remind you, I don't think I've ever done a project like this before. It's something I see other people do quite often, and it's never interested me, but now that I've given it a go, I'm excited by the redstone circuit. This is cool stuff. So what we're doing here is we're going to have full stacks of items except for one item, right? So this will all be filled up, and when that extra one item comes in here, it means this comparator goes to the highest level, and then it's going to be in deduct mode, so then it would turn off, or sorry, it would actually turn on that redstone and then turn off this torch, right? So when that happens, the items in here can start moving from this one over to that one. But the thing is, it's literally going to do it for one item, then that's going to go down to 63 instead of being 64, and then this is going to turn off again. So when the right item comes into here, and we have a full 5 stacks of items, one can move across. What we obviously do is rename these items, and then we have the one extra that we chuck into here. So then the hopper's going to come all the way across this dispenser, and you can guess what these repeaters are for. Actually, I think they need a delay. So yeah, when this thing gets activated, the item makes its way through to that dropper, and then a little bit later it gets powered. Now the other thing this circuit doesn't have is a way to activate a door. So we have sticky pistons back here, and I was looking at controlling this with a 1-tick pulse from an observer to make the redstone as short as possible. So this gets activated and then that gets retracted. But this is probably going to fire twice, and then we've got to activate it again as we walk through, and that can probably set off all sorts of problems. So I think what we actually want to do here is have a redstone torch controlling this, so it's always extended, and that should make the redstone a little bit simpler. This is super simple. So I've added in a piston that gets activated when the door gets activated. So then that repeater will be turning off this torch and opening the door. When we walk through from the other side, that's when we go over the pressure plate and activate the piston that puts it back into this position. So not all of the slots need to be renamed. These are just here to block the slot. Remember, it's the first one that will send the item out going across. So let's simulate throwing this thing into the hopper above, and you can see the door opens, we get our item back, and everything is now sealed up and ready to go. Let's throw it over there. Let's pick it back up. This block needs to be a slab, by the way, because we've got a torch down below, and that's it, and then it gets locked up after us. To get out of here, we probably need to wire up like a button over to that point, right? And then we'll be able to walk out of here. But I'm going to do the tunnel, the aesthetics of that stuff at another time. This is the end of the episode, peeps. I do hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, leave a like and let me know what you think of the Yeti skin. Thumbs up for the Yeti skin. I love it myself. It is gorgeous. It's wonderful. That's it. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.